Hello. Ah, yes. Internet friends. It's truly a beautiful thing. You usually meet by the universe kind of working in weird ways, and then boom, you're video chatting every single night, you're texting all the time, planning when you're gonna be moving in with each other. You know, before people do click off of this video at some point, there is something in correlation to this video that I must talk about, and that is the fact that I used to be friends, internet friends, with Sebastian Bales. So, and it was just as weird and crazy as you would expect, if not more. So Curtis Connor, if you're watching, I will gladly come on your podcast and talk about Sebastian Balls. All right, moving on. And for a lot of people, they actually prefer internet friends. Typically, you don't really ever have to leave your house, and it is commonly where people are their most genuine selves. You'll become friends over an in common interest, and then it blooms into a real, genuine connection. But for a really long time, these relationships were seen as completely invalid. They were seen as evil strangers who would find your address and like kidnap you in the middle of the night. Internet friends didn't really have a good rep, and this reaction was typically from parents. But I get it though, you know, they didn't grow up with that, and Fox News typically tells them that the internet is a bad place for serial killers to find their next victims. So, can you blame them? I was very fortunate though. My mother did, yes, watch Fox News, but she was oddly very understanding about like the concept of internet friends as a whole. When I was 14, first time flying alone at that, I flew to Boston to go meet my male internet friend. Yeah, Mom, maybe that one was a bit of a stretch, but thank you. I appreciate it. We're not friends anymore, but at the time, this was such an amazing and just fun, unique experience that I never thought would ever become a reality, and this feeling became extremely addicting. As he was not a serial killer, I visited him a few times, and then I really started going to VidCon a lot. VidCon to me was just honestly a convention to meet my internet friends, you know, see some of my viewers, some cool creators, and be malnourished for 3 days. So long story short, I have a lot of videos hugging my internet friends. Some of these friendships of mine lasted weeks, months, or in most cases with me, years, just because we are all in the YouTube community. So since I went through a lot of internet friendships, I feel quite qualified to talk about this subject. A quote that I'm now making a thing because I say it pretty much in almost every single video. There are many different types of internet friends. You know, some are good, some are bad. Not all of them are butterflies and rainbows. Talk about false expectations. Honestly, a lot of my whack friendships came from the app Amino. One that I came across quite often was the catfisher.
Transition.
I did very much so get catfished by multiple people on this app, but I have one story that I would like to tell. There was this one person who we will call Johnny, because I love Johnny so. We flirted a lot to the point where I'm pretty sure it's mutual that we both liked each other. On these K-pop Amino pages, it was just kind of like an unwritten rule where if you wanted to like catfish or lie about what you looked like, you would use these pictures of like Ulzang, girls or boys. But a lot of these people didn't realize you could just like Google reverse image search most photos, so they were typically caught. But this Johnny person, they were smart. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know whose photos they were using, but it never came up in a reverse Google image search. We were friends for a really long time, and then one day, homie just fucking disappeared. I don't know where he went, but he disappeared. And I was like, damn, Johnny, what happened? So 2 years pass, and all of a sudden, I just go on Amino really randomly, and I'm like, I'm just curious if any of my friends are still on, like, if they're even still active. And then I see one of our mutuals on. So I message her, and I'm like, hey, like, is Johnny okay? It's been 2 years. I haven't heard from him in a really long time. What's up? Yeah, like he's actually pretty active on like a few other aminos. I can give you like other pages that he's on. So I find him and he adds me to a new group chat. All right, a new group chat with new people that I've never met before because 2 years went by. So we're like calling each other cute and shit. And she was like, yeah, Johnny is literally so cute. And I'm like, has everyone seen what Johnny looks like? And everyone was like, yeah. So I sent one of these photos from like 2 years ago and everyone starts spamming the group chat with like question marks. They're like, huh? Who the fuck is that? And then here comes Johnny. Excuses. Panicking. I could feel the panic through the phone, bro. Oh my god, no, that's my cousin. I met her 2 years ago before like I was comfortable showing who I was. So I'm like, okay, no problem. And then all of a sudden this girl starts sending pictures of what Johnny looks like. First thought is like, no fucking way that's him. So I go to my trusty little friend Google reverse image search and there's nothing. Not a single goddamn result. And I'm like, you got me fucking beat. You know what I do? I go full ass detective mode. And I'm looking at these photos, and I notice that there's Korean in the back of one of the photos. And this wasn't just like, oh, a Korean sign that could be like in a Korean restaurant. Like, no, like the bus in the back had a sign that was in Korean. Like the emergency instructions were in Korean. You're not gonna find that in California, babes. You're not gonna find that. So I'm like, hey, Johnny, have you ever been to Korea? Like, I want to plan a trip with some of my friends. And he was like, oh my God, no, I've never gone. So I call him out on his shit and straight up go, oh, that's weird, because in one of your photos, there's like Korean in the back or whatever. And he changes the goddamn subject. So naturally, I ask for proof. I say, all right, if you're actually who you say you are, send me a video. And Johnny was gone. Lying about your life is a pretty common internet friend thing, but I get it though. The internet is a complete escape from reality, because if reality sucks and you don't like how your life is, you don't like how you look, you know, it's extremely easy to just make up a fake persona online and live your life kind of differently depending on where you're at. This is something that'll never ever leave internet culture. It is literally what makes social media. And I am 100% not shaming anybody who has done this in the past, and I'm not shaming anyone who might even be currently doing it. But if there is one thing to take from me talking about this, it would be that there are so many people on the internet. There are so many people who will never judge you for the way you live your life. There are so many people that will not judge you for the way that you look. There are so many people that will not judge you for kinks, for whatever. Literally, the internet is so huge. And lying to people about who you are, that's not good for you. You know, you deserve to be yourself. And you deserve to have friends who love you for who you are. So it's okay to take your time and really find the people that appreciate you for who you are, instead of having to lie about yourself. That shit's exhausting.
Transition.
I know for a fact most of us have had this one. This person will literally be gone for months, and then when they come back, they'll act like, oh, it was just a few hours. And usually when you ask, oh, hey, where have you been? They're just like, I was busy. For 8 months? Johnny, I'm kidding. But also, why is it like kind of a slay? Like, why is it kind of a slay to be like, oh, sorry, girl, I was busy? But this can be like really terrifying, no? Like, for all you know, they could have been hit by a bus and they've been in a coma for 10 months. But no, it just took them a really long time to make some grilled cheese. Although, I do not doubt that this has happened before, where like they thought their friend was just like having a little quirky hiatus, but in reality, they were like fighting demons attached to a beeping machine. And low key, why are these friends like kind of my favorite ones? I kind of just want to be the person that they don't ignore, you know?
Transition.
This one's fun. The toxic one. This person is often extremely jealous for like no reason. And a common trend they have is that they always like want to one-up somebody, which leads to these people usually being pathological liars, which honestly could be its own subject, but we're gonna tie it into this one. But it's literally because they always just want to be the best, so they'll make up lies that makes them seem cooler than like everybody else, and half the time these lies will not make any sense. One girl that I met, she made up lies more than she breathed. She told me that at a concert for BTS back in 2017 that Jimin tried taking her backstage since she was barricade, but apparently security stopped him. Goddamn security. But I think a few weeks later she forgot that she told me this lie, because she gave me her Instagram and I saw her view, and her view was from right here. Jimin be like. She was also 16. Jimin be like. This person could also be identified as a pick-me and will like go out of their way to embarrass others to again like try and look the best. Once they get exposed though, it's kind of fun to watch it like all crash and burn.
Transition.
Yes, next, the boundary pusher. Of course, I speak with this with an open mind, because I do understand that there are different circumstances as to why somebody might do this. But when they're blowing up your phone because you took like 20 minutes to do laundry, that's a little different. A correlation I found with these people is that they typically feel like you owe them something, but you do not owe anybody anything. I have a hard time saying no, so I've had quite a few of these friends, and sometimes these people can just end up being extremely dependent on you as well. And this can be really scary when they have a lot of, you know, mental health that might need worked on. I feel like something that a lot of people who have indulged with internet friends have had somebody like this, where you end up just kind of being their therapist. And it has taken me years. I'm still trying to kind of come to terms with it, that you do not have to be your friend's therapist. And I don't really know if this is like a controversial opinion, and if it is, I'm just speaking my truth. But I say this because there's a difference in being there for your friend, and there's a difference in being their therapist. Because being there for them is good for you and it's good for them. You know, it makes your bond really strong. You know, it's really nice to know that you're there for a friend. It's really nice to feel like you have someone there for you. But being a therapist, sure, it can help them, but it'll eventually really negatively affect you. You have to be in the right mental space. Even though I've never really been in a healthy mental health space, you can kind of just tell from my videos that I do enjoy talking. I do enjoy, you know, giving advice to people. I do enjoy listening. But because of that, it has kind of bit me in the ass a few times and hurt a lot of friendships, because I did just become the friend that everyone goes to when they're having a bad day. Or I became the friend where, oh, you want to talk about a really triggering subject? Oh, let's go to Allie. To the people that I had talked to about, hey, I'm not in a good mental space and I can't hear about this really triggering topic. I just can't. And you'd be surprised, because a lot of them took that very offensively and would just talk to me about them anyway. So from this one, I guess an important thing to note is just, if you find comfort in talking to some of your friends about, you know, mental health and how you're feeling, and like maybe sometimes it can become a triggering topic, just make sure you kind of ask permission first. You know, make sure you're like, hey, are you in a space where I can maybe talk to you about this? If not, that's okay. I can reach out to either someone who I think might, or I can reach out to a resource, because once again, as I kind of mentioned in my last week's video, there are so many different resources, you know, to help your mental health. And I feel like a lot of us have probably been the boundary pusher, and that's just something that you learn throughout time. You know, you kind of just, you live, you learn, and you realize that, oh, maybe I should not just start talking about this really triggering topic without asking, hey, is this okay? Because it's through a screen, it's a lot easier to kind of just forget that, oh, this is a real person, especially if you've never even met them before. But yes, they are real people. And period.
Transition.
Hi, Johnny. I'm kidding. This one could be a personal issue, because in general, I'm just like a very flirty person. But I cannot be the only person that had this like weird sexual tension with like a few of their internet friends. Sexual energy might be the wrong term. It's more of like, are we about to kiss right now? Like that type of energy. And ironically enough, a lot of the boys that this happened with ended up being gay. So that's fun. I had one in particular that was actually pretty public. His name was William Sheets, and we even had a ship name called Allium. Like, sure, William, you might be gay, but Allium is still for the win, baby. And honestly, we ate that shit up. We were doing fan service before we even knew what fan service was. Trailer who? I don't know her. I only know Allium.
Transition.
Those are the few that I could think of. There's definitely a lot more, so I'd love to hear your experiences with some crazy fucking internet friends. I threw in some random ones, so this won't really apply to those, but if you used to be one of these people and like, you know, you maybe used to push boundaries, you used to be toxic, you know, it's fine. You know, we live, we learn, we grow, we become better people from what we did stupidly in our youth. But honestly, the main thing to take away from this video is to just remember that there's always another person on the other side of the screen, and that how you treat them can affect them negatively. And that it's not only important to respect them, but it's also important to respect yourself. Finding people who genuinely appreciate you for you is what makes the internet such a beautiful thing. And with that, that's a wrap. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up, and you should subscribe. And if you would like to know when I post, you can put my post notifications on. Right now, I don't have a scheduled post today, but that's mainly because I don't even know what my schedule is right now. It's kind of funky. I'm in between trying to find work. So because of that, I don't want to have to like rush out content, especially when I'm trying to really rebuild what I once had on YouTube. If you want to follow me on my social media, the link will be in the description below. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys when I see ya. Peace out.